We're driving these two little boats down Lake Powell in Utah. Claire Quist and his girlfriend Pamela Davis in one, me and Mark Davis in the other. Mark, Pam, and Claire are professional river guides, boatmen, characters, honest folk. They work for an outfit called Moki Mac, or Murky Muck, Expeditions, out of Green River, Utah. Work for it? Hell, Claire and his two brothers own the damn thing, whatever it is. What it is one of the 3 or 4 best river-running outfits in the West. Nobody's working today. This is a holiday outing for the 4 of us. Our goal is Escalante Canyon and its arboreal system of branch canyons. We're going by way of the so-called lake because we plan to explore a few side canyons, the mouths of which are now underwater. Starting at Bullfrog Marina, our course takes us south-southwest past old familiar landmarks, Halls Creek Canyon, the south end of the Water Pocket Fold, the Rincon, the mouth of Long Canyon. Around that next bend will be the opening to the Escalante. Bright blue above, the golden sun at high noon. On either side, the red walls of what once had been, and will again be, Glen Canyon. No use fretting about it anymore. We throw our orange peels overboard to feed the fish. These hatchery fish will eat anything. Claire and Mark amuse themselves by steering as close as they can without quite ramming them to the buoys marking the channel. There's nothing much else to do out here on this smooth expanse of flat and stagnant water. Pam reads a book. I stare at the cliffs and at the domes, plateaus, and mountains beyond, remembering what I sometimes wish I could forget. Glen Canyon as it was. The wild river, the beaches, the secret passages and music temples and hidden cathedrals of stone, the wilderness alive and sweet and charged with mystery, miracle, magic. No use fretting. I throw my torn beer can into the lake, where it sinks and disappears. We clear the corner and plane up canyon into the broad Escalante. Sheer, slick, vertical walls of Navajo sandstone rising on either side, one wall in blue shadow, the other in radiant light. But nothing lives along these stone barriers. All that was living and beautiful lies many fathoms below, drowned in dead water and buried under slime. No matter. Forget it. Write it off. Cabin cruisers roar past. We wallow across their wakes. A houseboat like a floating boxcar comes toward us, passes. The people on board stare, then wave tentatively, unsure whether or not we, in our little open boats, deserve the dignity of recognition. That doesn't matter either. We wave back. A few miles up the canyon we go ashore in a cove without a name. Others have been here before, as the human dung and toilet paper, the tinfoil, plastic plates, abandoned underwear, rusty fishhooks, tangled lines, discarded socks, empty Coors cans, and broken glass clearly attest. But on the shores of Lake Powell, jewel of the Colorado and national recreational slum, you have no choice. All possible campsites look like this one. There is no lower form of life known to zoological science than the reservoir fisherman, a speedboat sightseer. We have stopped here because we want to climb an old stockman's trail that leads to the rim from this vicinity. We tie the boats to a rock, load our packs, and ascend the humps of bare, slick rock toward the skyline 800 feet above. Halfway up, we find traces of the long abandoned trail, wide, shallow steps chiseled in the sandstone, sufficient to enable the horse to climb or descend. Over the rim, out of sight of the lake and its traffic, we make camp for the night. In the morning we march north and west over a petrified sea of stone waves, across sandy flats studded with juniper, yucca, single-leaf ash, scrubby gamble oak, and up monolithic ridges that seem to lead right into the sky. Far beyond are the salmon-pink walls of Upper Stevens Canyon, the Circle Cliffs, and the incomprehensible stone forms, pale rose and mystical, of the great monocline known as Water Pocket Fold. We'll never get there. This is merely a reconnoiter, a scouting trip, and we're not even sure we want to get there. Perhaps a few places are best left unexplored, seen from a distance, but never entered, never walked upon. Let them be, for now and for always. At some point out there, among a circle of sandstone memories, hundreds of feet high, we find a deep groove in the endless rock. Down in the groove stands a single cottonwood tree, alive and golden with its October leaves. Alone in all these square miles of desolate grandeur, this dry Elysium, it is the tree of life. We find a way down to it, and sure enough, as we'd hoped, we discover a series of deep potholes, some of them half filled with sand, but others with water. Old rainwater, but clear and cool and heartening. We fill our jugs and bottles and camp nearby for a couple of days. Campfires of juniper and scrub oak, the smell of coffee, the incense of burning wood. Vast, lurid sunsets flare across the sky, east as well as west, portending storm and winter, but we don't care. Showers of meteors streak across the field of the stars, trailing languid flames. An old worn moon goes down as the rising sun comes out. In the chill mornings we make a breakfast and track off again in another direction. What direction? Any direction. One afternoon, we sit by a pool on the lip of stone that overhangs the head of one of the Escalante's many side canyons. The drop-off must be 1,000 feet straight down. Down and down and down. Your mind falls to the green pool in a sandy basin far below. Perennial springs flow there. Under this overhanging spout we lie upon, we can see the glaze and glitter of a stream snaking through jungles of willow, box elder, redbud, and Fremont poplar toward the Escalante River somewhere beyond, hidden in its own profound meanders. We see a natural stone arch below, under the west wall, and balanced rocks, freestanding pillars, pinnacles, alcoves, grottos, half-dome amphitheaters. The pathways of many deer curve with the contours of the talus slopes. A red-tailed hawk rides the air, soaring beneath us. Ravens clack and croak and flap around, quarreling over nothing, over anything, over nothing. In the shallow pond at our side are dozens of tadpole shrimp, the grotesque helmet-headed Apis longicaudatus, swimming back and forth, pursuing one another, the large capturing and devouring the small. They look like tiny horseshoe crabs, or like miniature trilobites from the earliest seas of all, come back to haunt us with the memory of the earth's long, strange, splendid, and meaningless history. The spiral of time, the circle of life, the vanity of death, the black hole of space. The hot radiance of the sun pouring on our prone bodies, suffusing our flesh, melting our bones, lulls us towards sleep. Over the desert and the canyons, down there in the rocks, a huge vibration of light and stillness and solitude shapes itself into the form of hovering wings spread out across the sky from the world's rim to the world's end. Not God, the term seems insufficient, but something unnameable and more beautiful and far greater and more terrible. My friends and I touch one another, smiling, and roll a few boulders into the canyon, only for fun, meaning no harm. We listen, and when the bedrock stops trembling, and after the last far-off echoes of our thunder die away, we shoulder our packs and start the long tramp back to where we came from, wherever that was. It makes no difference. Willing or not, ready or not, we'll get there. Behind us, back at the canyon's head, the sun blazes down on the shallow pool. The hooded grope things swim writhing through the water. 1,000 feet beneath, the spring continues to flow, and the little stream to snake its shining way through canyon jungle toward the hidden river. The hawk soars, the ravens quarrel, and no man sees, no woman hears, no one is there, everything is there.